All right. Very, very good morning to everybody. Happy Monday and welcome to another Engineering the Markets. My name is Jared and it is January 10th, 2022. Looking back at last week, we are in the throes of volatility, but when looking at the SPY, maybe you don't necessarily suspect it. And we'll talk about the underpinnings of that and how that affected the market last week. Lots of rotation going on. We're seeing sector performance both to the upside and to the downside. Obviously, there are some underpinning catalysts for some of this performance, the likes of which we talked about extensively last week, which was rising interest rates, and specifically inside of the 10-year interest rate, seeing a fresh breakout and potential for higher rates in the future. As always, let's start off the week with our sort of bread and butter of what is the market expecting for movement throughout this entire weekly session. Last week, we started off the week with about a $62 expected move. The markets were also coming off of a yearly close, so expectations for the first week of 2022 were somewhat curious and a bit ominous with some of the changes that this year might provide the market. As you can see, we did have a couple of days of trading inside of this expected move range, but on Wednesday's session, we saw plenty of downside volatility, specifically inside of our Nasdaq stocks, and that brought the S&Ps lower, coming into their 50 period on Friday's session and breaking the expected move, closing below for the week. So normal behavior here is that the market, specifically the option market, will attempt to readjust its pricing model in order to accommodate for potentially higher volatility to come. And normally what you see is an expansion of the expected move week over week, especially if you are looking at closes on a weekly session outside of these ranges. So what that does is it caters to a wider expected move. And when we're looking at this week's expected move, we're looking at approximately a 76-point range for the week ending in January 14th. What that does is it puts our S&P lower bound for the expected move at about 4601 and our upper bound at 4753. Remember, this is not necessarily support and resistance. We're talking about option risk and where the market perceives those boundaries in regards to have they priced things correctly for the week? And if they haven't, what sort of dynamics can take place in the week of that session in order to adjust for the risk model that the option market obviously got wrong. So looking to this following week, we're seeing this expansion. It is appropriate given we did breach last week's expected move. And moving ahead, as we start to see the market open for our Monday session, we can start to look at where to focus for the week. Now, in order to do so, it might be worthwhile looking at where was the performance last week, both to the upside and to the downside, both of which are opportunities in themselves. When you look at the SPY weekly, you can see that our weekly look at this time is still sort of a false breakout look. We have a weekly range. This range has been facilitated by a number of opens and closes on the weekly, all of which are pretty much aligned to this 470 print. And as the market did close lower below this price level, we might still see a bit more downside to once again test our lower bound of this trading range. This is a range that the SPY has been in for multiple months. And as we've seen moves higher and lower, this volatility has been sort of the trading ground that we've been experiencing week in and week out. Excuse me. When you look at the picture of the SPY, though, there really isn't a lot of concern. Essentially, we made fresh highs last week. We printed new all-time highs in the S&Ps. So where has this downside volatility been coming from, and why has the SPY been outperforming throughout that entire session? Well, look no further than our Nasdaq, which, as we were looking at some of the morning session, we were looking at some scenarios. The Nasdaq, specifically on our weekly session, put up one of our most bearish candles in quite a while. We're looking at sort of a complete reversal from the prior 2-week session in December. And we're also seeing elevated selling volume, the likes of which have brought us down to relative extremes for this market. When you're looking at the downside pressure in the Nasdaq, we can start to theorize about possible support zones, the channel, which is the overall trading channel for the Nasdaq, looking at these potential buying opportunities. Until we get there, of course, and until we see a signal, we won't necessarily be looking to make any significant trades. But noting where this market is and noting what has been the driver of some of this pressure, the likes of which the bond market has been providing some of that overall weakness inside of tech. Last week, we commented on the TLT breaking down from both a trend line, a trading range, and this breakdown coming after a false breakout, basically a full range transition, breaking the low on high volume and coming into our first potential target. So last week, lots of pressure from the bond market all the way into a first sort of short target for the traders amidst this product. And what that has done has spiked our interest rates, specifically the TNX for the 10-year. When it comes to bond products and when it comes to these sort of overall breakouts and breakdowns, you want to just think about this like you would any other stock. If you were to see such a move, you'd obviously not necessarily initially think short. This market made new highs, the TNX printing approximately 1.8% yield on last week's session. And while we are running into the weekly 200, that's sort of that initial stall for this market, this is essentially a range breakout, no matter how you sort of perceive this as an index or something that's simply tracking interest rates in the market. So the market is advertising that we are done looking at this particular trading range and potentially looking for higher prices, regardless of the fact that this is an index. So we want to be cautious of what this breakout means for interest rates moving forward and how to perceive that risk. We start to see that expansion of this range. Something like a fib tool can give you an idea of where 200% lies, sort of the doubling of the range. And when you mark these price levels, you can see that the 10-year over the next couple of weeks might be rising towards 2%. What sort of pressure does that put inside of the tech sector? And how do we get there? Do we get there in one straight shot? Do we get pullbacks along the way? Those are obviously going to be potential short-term opportunities. And how does the market respond? Is it preparing for the worst, simply selling off until the price levels match the expectation of interest rates? and which companies are going to be hit the hardest throughout the session. Now, when looking at tech specifically, it's worth considering, once again, why has the SPY been holding up so well? Well, just like everything with the market, there's a push and pull, and the SPY has much more diversification in other sectors. We've seen performance last week as I bring over sort of a 1 week look at our sector performance. We're looking at sectors like energy, which rose 10%. And when you think about that sort of a correction to the upside, this is the market saying that energy was undervalued. The structure of the market and the driving forces of the energy sector have been adjusted. And the market is pricing in those adjustments in a hurry, which from the perception of a market trader is showcasing relative strength. We're seeing energy stocks outperform over the last week. This is also true of the financials, another large sector of the S&P, and also a benefactor of rising interest rates, specifically rising interest rates that are quick, basically aggressively rising interest rates. And as you walk down this list, you can see that these sectors provided a little bit of masking of some of the weakness across the board. We're talking about large sectors like healthcare, which throughout the entire week have pulled back almost 5%. We'll look at that chart in just a moment. We're talking about tech, which once again has been hit severely last week, with technology being one of the main weakness sectors of the market. And while it's not necessarily posted here, the likes of communication, one of our key underlying stocks, Alphabet, both the Class C and Class A shares, both of which coming off precipitously and putting up large trading range candles throughout last week. So these are opportunities. It's worth paying attention to moving into the week ahead, because essentially we have gotten our signal for the beginning of 2022. We are entering a new regime, potentially. New rising interest rates, new sector performance, the likes of financials coming into our sort of channel resistance, the likes of energy breaking to new relative highs. We'll want to keep an eye on some former price levels as this sector rises higher and higher. And then shifting back into the look of healthcare, the likes of which had a 5-day pullback. We're talking about a full week of selling pressure. This is how the S&P can sort of skirt through the middle of a trading range, or essentially not see the weakness that other more concentrated index products, things like our Nasdaq, can start to feel as tech is selling off much harder throughout last week's session. Now, as I mentioned, the TLT is coming into our first downside target. I would say that this inflection point is important for this product. It is the lowest print we've had since the last 6 months, and it was marked off by October 11th. We can see that Friday we had a bit of a potential bottoming tail, sort of that lower shadow of our trading candle. And while this market is once again testing this price level inside of today's session, we might see a bit of a pause in some of the selling pressure, specifically in the TLT. And when you think about sort of the truly one-to-one product, the 10-year note, which here I have the ZN, you can also see a bit of that bottoming pressure. Essentially, the market has fallen off quite quickly. And in this sell-off, there might be moments of stall or potentially bounce, just smaller pullbacks in the larger overall trend. So keeping an eye on these areas. These are short-term opportunities, and what that can do for the Nasdaq or for tech in general is provide short-term trades, specifically if we have a lot of confluence. I'm going to bring up sort of a short-term chart here, and you can see how the Nasdaq has already sold into approximately the 375 print for the QQQ. This is both an area of interest for our channel, which we do have our rising trend line coming to support the price. We have our most recent swing lows, which if I mark off these two swing lows, going back to a short-term time frame, you can see the confluence of potential areas of interest coming into the same price. And then last but not least, when you think about some of the rise that this market has had, marking off things like previous balance inside of the uptrend, we're getting basically a zone. This is both from a volume profile perspective. I'll pull up something like our volume profile to showcase this area of potential inventory, our rising trend line, which I've discussed many times, and then our short-term swing lows. These are the ones that have been tested as of late. And while we've gotten a full 100% retracement here, we are coming into sort of a bearish channel support. The whole purpose here is to showcase that while things are pressure tech, specifically rising interest rates, there may be an opportunity here for sort of a 1 to 2 day bounce. Obviously, the market will need to showcase this for us on an intraday session, but do not be surprised if we see sort of a return of tech strength based solely on these technical sit-ups. And at the end of the day, if the market does not respond well to these levels, if we see continued selling, you have to ask yourself, if the market is able to breach these levels so quickly, where is our next support? What sort of market can we expect whenever the Nasdaq has both broken the 50 period and potentially breaking through our channel support, our trend line support, something that's been in place ever since the beginning of March? So as we entered today, caution to those looking for reversals. Specifically in tech sector, I would say there is a moment of opportunity. However, look for the market to give you that signal, and obviously be focused on the Nasdaq if you are trading tech stocks today, because it'll dictate the sort of response that we could get if all of these confluent technical levels come together at the same time. Now, some other ways to view the volatility expansion of the market. A lot of people will run to the VIX whenever the market is showcasing some higher volatility. They'll see, how serious is it getting? They'll start off with something like the VIX. Maybe they'll look at VX futures for the more experienced trader. They'll look at things like the market structure inside of these products. Go to analyze. There it is, product depth. I was forgetting where my tool was. They'll look at things like how are VX futures structured, moving out through different expiration periods. Are we starting to see short-term volatility flatten and future volatility products sort of merge to the spot price, which shows a bit of fear and overall rising volatility pricing in the market? And for those in the option side, they will also be looking at implied volatility readings. Is the SPY starting to increase its pricing due to the fact that the expected move and the overall range that we're seeing is starting to expand. That, of course, can be seen through option series, or you can pull up something as simple as an implied volatility study to start to see where those increases are coming and how the market is responding, sort of these upticks in volatility. Doesn't really matter what product you use, you can see these upticks as you get larger sell-offs or even larger rises. That's not necessarily a bullish or bearish signal, but volatility does tend to compress whenever the market is rising. So with the VIX, however, one thing I wanted to argue is because last week, go ahead and remove these studies, because last week we didn't really have the same downside pressure in the SPY or the SPX as a whole, that push and pull with financials and energy providing a bit of overall relative strength, the VIX really didn't have any significant spikes. We're starting to barely breach above 20. It's worth paying attention as this is a pretty significant inflection for the VIX itself. But overall, this is not really the sort of fear-based look that the market has given in the past on bigger corrections and basically moments of downside selling pressure. However, there is another product out there. This one's called the Vol Q. And it's just another tool in the toolbox. Just like with everything, there's different data points to add to your analysis. For those looking for a volatility index of the Nasdaq, this might be a sort of easy addition to some of your watch list. And just like the VIX, now we're looking at 30-day volatility of the Nasdaq 100. The Vol Q being sort of that same fear gauge for Nasdaq products. And just like the VIX, there are certain areas of interest, not necessarily at the same price levels. For example, you may want to look and see where does this particular product see bigger spikes, essentially gaps in the structure. And more importantly, when does the fear abate? What sort of price levels does the market gap down and see a calming of volatility? One of which that's of high interest to me is, when did the Nasdaq end its overall September and October correction? And that's, of course, at the beginning of October all the way to mid-October, when we saw this nice rally inside of the Nasdaq. What we can do is go back to the Vol Q and see approximately where did the October lows get made. We're looking somewhere in these 25 to 22 prints. And then, of course, as the market had that slight rebound and obviously got very bullish moving into the end of October, the Vol Q was crushed back down to sort of the lows, roughly the 15 prints. So based on just this information alone, you might say that 22 is a pretty important inflection point for this particular index. And as you extend it out and maybe draw up some additional examples, you might see some inflection here. Both some swing lows that led to secondary spikes, things like a reduction in volatility after a period of heightened volatility. This is our March crash in the market, or a correction in the market. And even things like attempts to get volatile. The idea of sort of that false breakout look where the market is pulling down and then catches itself very quickly. These are those swing low pullbacks to the 50 period as the market was trending. Every single time we got sort of a one-day sell-off, market immediately bought up the next day, and that showcases the inflection inside of this product. So the reason I wanted to bring this particular index up is, one, it's showcasing that we may have some volatility spikes ahead of us. We are above an inflection point, a possible inflection point based solely on the short-term analysis. And secondly, as we see spikes above this, we can see larger fear in the market start to return. This is solely for the Nasdaq itself. So unlike the VIX, which our SPY, of course, having the diversified construction, is not seeing that fear quite yet. Other sides of the market are starting to experience it. And as we move forward, if we see more selling inside of the tech products, we see more rising in the 10-year interest rate. Keep an eye on your /CN for futures traders, the TNX for the index, or just use the TLT if you want a trading vehicle with technical levels and volume to confirm or deny your thesis. All of these are ways to sort of gauge what is the next step for the market. Are we going to see financials and energy hold? Are they going to provide outperformance such that it masks weakness in tech? And can we get a tech rebound? That's sort of the main thesis for today, maybe for the rest of the week. If interest rates start to cool, we see TLT respond a bit bullish off of this inflection low, tech has a chance to rebound. But without those signals, and obviously if the Nasdaq breaches lower from sort of that confluence of support and those overall levels of interest, where is our next level of support? Where can we find strong buys inside of the Nasdaq? And until then, it may simply be that we are selling pullbacks in this market. We are shorting the rip instead of necessarily buying the dip. So just want to give that perspective for the week. This is the main theme that was brought last week, and we are simply continuing this analysis, but of course with new information on hand and new levels to assess as we move into the beginning of 2022. So with all that said, my name is Jared. This is Engineering the Markets. As always, trade safe, have your risk in check. Look for those signals intraday. We should get some nice volatility if this market continues to provide nice swing, low responses on these index products. And ultimately, as we enter this week, we're entering into our earnings week. We're going to start up with our earnings discussion. That'll provide new catalysts, new information, and hopefully new volatility for us to take advantage of. So stay tuned, trade safe, and stay tuned as well for pre-market prep. We'll talk more tomorrow.
Good morning, guys. Welcome to Supermarket Prep. I hope everyone is having an amazing morning. I hope you guys are doing very well and had an incredible weekend. Good morning, Norm. How you doing today?
Hey, good morning, brother. I'm doing well. How are you?
Good, good. Want to make sure, can you guys see the screen in the chat room? So I just want to make sure that's working because,
Yes,
okay, perfect. Last
you're
couple of
good to
times
go.
it was acting a little funky. All right, perfect, guys. Welcome. Hopefully everybody did had an amazing weekend, a restful weekend. Let's get into what we have this morning. Let's give Jared a big thumbs up for engineering the markets every single morning. We appreciate that very, very much. So let's give him a thumbs up over on YouTube. Let me get this thing away from our gappers. All right, our gappers this morning, guys. Let's take a look here. We got a lot of stuff in the red today. So a couple of things here in the red that were that have been pretty active for us last week. Again, the theme last week, Norm, if you guys remember, was our watch list kind of was mediocre at best, but we had incredible days. I know you yourself had an incredible week as well. So glad to hear that always. Um,
Yeah, just slow and steady. I
yeah,
was
yeah,
pleased
that's
with it.
the way to do it. And we'll see what this week's brings. Right, already this morning's gappers list looks very active. I'm not sure how good these tickers
Mm,
are,
yeah,
but it looks very active. Let's go with that. It
yeah.
looks active. Um, so let's go
There's
ahead. Let's
some
start.
letters up
Yeah,
there. I don't know that they mean much. We'll see.
exactly.
My preliminary observation. I'm not super
it's,
optimistic about it.
it's not looking great. That's for sure. Let's start with overall market pulse, Norm. What do we got going on for today and this week?
I apologize, man. I am my son was sick over the weekend, and I think I'm getting it. Wholesale inventory is 10 a.m. That's the only data we have out today. Sorry, the sheet is not updated. I did that, but for some reason it didn't save. Last week we definitely had volatility come back into the market. A few big down days, specifically Wednesday. You can see that big red candle there. So, um, I'm just curious how things go this morning. We're down a little over 1% on the Qs, which have been underperforming the overall the SPY, the other indices, thirds of a percent on this at the moment. And it looks like it's trying to head lower. So yeah, let's see how we start off this week today.
Yep, absolutely. Already, again, Spy, very, very interesting guys here right now as well. We'll see how this goes. All right, let's get into it, guys. Let's hop over
You
here.
know,
Mhm.
we broke below the 9 and the 20 on the daily on the SPY last week, and now we've gapped below the 50, I believe. So um, see how that does.
Yeah, yeah, very, very interesting. A few times we have, dived like this a little bit. We have bounced back pretty aggressive. So I'm not saying that's going to happen, but that has been somewhat the theme the last couple of times we've done this. So let's get to it, guys. Watch list today, starting with gapping up this morning. MOLN. This one is up 26%. The volume is extremely light for the most part. They don't see a whole lot of action. You can tell here on the daily, it's not looking great. And this morning they're seeing 280 something, which is more than they usually trade an entire day. But this daily is just not fun. 20
Well,
million.
it's out in
Yeah.
Switzerland. It's a
Oh, it's
Swiss
foreign.
biotech with COVID news partnering with is it Merck or
Yeah.
Novartis? Excuse me. So yeah, the
I mean,
things out of these
it's got
European
all the
countries just
buzzwords.
trade terribly. Yeah,
Yeah. It's got all the buzzwords, right? COVID, Merck is a great company, a big company, but man, this is just not doing it. We've seen other bio companies have that type of news and be very active. This one doesn't have it today. APR this morning looks like a buyout, although the volume is not there, popping up 24%. Again, this is just there's nothing happening for us to look at
yeah,
here.
there's a
Let's move
buyout.
on. Yeah, a buyout. Okay, so that's not even a great catalyst unless it's big companies are getting bought out and you
No,
got kind of like some cash movement. But if it's these smaller type companies, no good. Allo, ALLO this morning
no,
popped up. No good. Yeah,
really.
this.
This is the joke stock.
Oh, this is the one. So see
This
today,
is
you
the
guys
one I
could.
threatened to kick people out of the chat room if they pulled it up.
Yeah, yeah. Today they would have been somewhat allowed because it actually has some
Yeah,
volume, right? And it's up 9.2. But yeah, Allo, I mean, it's just such a garbage stock, right? So this is the no, 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 no stock right there. All right, let's look at D Nay, DNYAY. Been on our list a couple of times last week and the week before. Today, again, I have not kept it on my list, guys. I just don't see anything
Even
great
I
on
just
this
want to
yet.
say its ticker is so bad that even when it's in play, it's bad.
Yes. Yes, it's in play today. I can even spell it. What is it? ALLO? Allo.
Yeah.
Even today, it's just not looking fun at all, guys. So we'll skip on that. DNA, lower flow stock too, guys. You know, on these lower flow stocks, we want to see some good activity. We're not seeing that on this one in good volume. CGC on the list this morning. And man, remember we used to trade CGC quite a bit last year, the year before. This morning they're up 3.3, no volume. Let's see if TRY, which seems to be the one that is actually trading the most decent out of all these top POTS type stocks. This seems to be the one that has some good movement to it. And actually today they seem, why isn't that on our list? They're up 13%, 3.5.
Which
Um,
one? What are you talking about?
TLRY should be on our list. Oh, we're just
Could
missing
be an
the
ATR
yeah,
issue.
we're just missing it by like a penny, right? 49 cents. So yeah, this is definitely in play today. So something is going on with our pot stocks here. CRON used to be active before, doesn't do much now. So I am going to add TRY, looks very decent there. CGC, no, I'm gonna keep it off the list. I was gonna say maybe a possible in case it gets going, but it's TRY seems to be the one that has the news or whatever.
Yeah, well, they had earnings this morning.
Okay. Oh, nice, nice. So we'll see how that plays out. Becky today not doing anything good for us. Becky, nope, no good. CGC we looked at already. Viacom, you know, we had some fun some time ago on this, but after that has not been done anything great. Friday had a
Big
good day
candle
though.
Friday.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just
I
saw
think it
that.
was it Thor that traded this one?
Yeah. Yeah,
I
big
think it
candle
was Thor.
Friday. All right out of the gates here. First hour, so you had a nice little pop from there. Didn't do a whole lot. Not sure what's going on. What's causing them to pop like this, but maybe a continuation today if they have some good news. Or remember this stock dropped from like what 80 something. Yeah, stock dropped from like 80 something, guys. You guys remember this here? It was just madness. It did go below to 30. Now it's trying to climb here. Looks like. Not a big fan of it, but I would like to see what Friday, the last trading day, and today are going to bring to the table. So we'll put that on there. ISPC this morning, no, horrible. It's just nothing happening here, guys. This is just lower flow stock too. No. Let's move on to our gap down list. We have AERHR. So AEHR here. This one is down 15%. Not a low flow stock, but sitting there around 24 million. So we do have to be slightly careful with it. This morning's pre-market action does look very active, 253,000. Short selling restriction, but we do have shares for sure. I'm not sure. I'm on the fence on this. I'm not sure. I'm not gonna completely just trash it just yet, but we'll put it on here. We'll come back to it.
They had earnings after the bell on Friday or Thursday, excuse me, and slid on Friday and continuing this morning. So I'm not a huge fan of this ticker though.
Not a huge fan of it. I know Friday looked good here. Maybe a continuation. The pre-market action does look a little bit nice today. We'll come back. Let's see how that looks a little bit later. TTWO, I'm not a fan of this one. Today they are in play though. They are down 10%, 285,000. There was a time where they're very, very active here. I'm not sure. Norm, I know you watched this stock in the past before.
I haven't traded this one in a long time. I want to say it's been at least a year, maybe two.
Yes.
There was a point in time when this thing was active. Very good to trade. There have been other times I haven't traded it when it was decent as well. Their news this morning, they're acquiring Zynga.
Zynga.
Cash and stock. Yeah, Zynga. I can't. What the hell was Zynga's like a joke of a game deal. They had.
I don't know what the ticker is.
I don't know what game it was. One of the phone games. Made a fortune on it. Went public and haven't done squat since. Essentially.
Okay. All right. I'm not sure which Zynga
Words
ticker.
with Friends.
There Words with
go.
Friends.
Thank you.
Oh yeah. I remember this. Yeah. Well, this was like. It was hot. What, like 5 years ago? Like it was. Everybody was doing it like 5 years ago. If I have the timing
I used
right.
to brag about my Words with Friends on MySpace.
Oh yeah, you had to brag about your score and the level you were in, and you could see where you rank between your friends. Yeah, this was hot. So here, I see ZNGA. It's not on our list, but it's gapping up here 48%, 26 million. Could be interesting. Let's put it down here. They look a lot better than TTWLO does this morning. They're gapping down, but it's still worth having as a possible just for now. I mean, if you do like to trade this ticker, it is down today quite a bit. It is moving. And then Zynga here. I'm not sure what the flow is on the Zynga. Let's take a look. They are, they're not small. 1 billion. Is that right?
Yeah,
Seems
it's a. I don't even. You're generous
yeah.
to put this on your list.
Yeah, I don't know about that, man. This
Oh,
is
it's
I
a
thought it was a
take
lower
of
for some reason I
it's
thought
an
it was a low flow
acquisition.
stock. Yeah. So
No,
I'm gonna take this off. All right, here's Lulu, guys. Lulu this morning, they are moving. They are down 6.3, 102,000. Man, they've been taking such a hit since November here. Have not done well even through the Chris. They had a little pop during the Christmas season. That's about it. Then back down here. So Lulu's interesting. I know you guys like some of you guys like to trade Lulu. I'll put it on here. I don't trade it very well, but they're definitely active this morning.
they gave some updated guidance for their Q4. I guess kind of like a pre-report, not doing so hot.
Okay. We'll take a look what's happening there. IonQ, you guys know I don't like this one personally. This morning down 5%. Their daily does look like it's just getting hammered here again. The last week was not good for them. Down 5%, 305,000. I'll put it as a possible. We'll come back for it. I'm not a fan of it, but it is moving today. IonQ. There we go. Hut. Is this piece of Hut? No, this is Hut mining. So this is Bitcoin. So I see. Okay, so talking about Bitcoin, we got Hut, we got Mara. We have
Pizza Hut.
I prefer Pizza Hut over Hut, that's for sure. We have Riot. So again, Bitcoin I'm assuming taking a hit here. We'll put Mara on the list for now. Mara and Riot tend to be the two better trading ones, right? We always talk about that, but I'm going to put Mara on the list just to see if there's going to be some kind of collapse today that we can take advantage of, right? On Mara here. So we do have shares for sure. Not saying that's going to happen, but that is what I will be looking for. So here's Matt right there. We'll see what takes place. All right, heading down here, we got some good ones. Rivian, I know you guys trade this quite a bit here this morning. They're down 3.6, 150. I don't like what I'm seeing there right now. Lucid, this one I do like this morning. They're down 3.5, 644. We've seen better pre-market activity, but they can be very explosive. So I like Lucid for any play here, long or short. They can move very well when they get the volume. A-Firm, I know last week they had some drops there. Not doing a whole lot right now. Here's Riot. We looked at A-Firm. Okay, all right. So this list just grew from like the last 2 minutes. It grew.
Well,
quite
every
a bit.
EV manufacturer is now on there.
Yeah, right. I see Tesla. I see NKLA. I mean, everything just popped up here. All right. So what's going on? These guys taking a hit today. Tesla here, definitely in play. We'll add that to the list. There's Tesla. I see AMC and GameStop active last week. Again, GameStop's just coming back down to reality a little bit here. I'm sorry, AMC, GameStop. No, I don't see anything exciting there. And then we got a couple of tech stuff here. Nvidia. Nvidia looks good on the daily, guys. Again, taking a hit here. I'm going to add Nvidia. And then we'll take a look at our friends, Apple. Apple could be a good one as well to add. I like Apple. I'm going to put it here as a possible. We can fine tune this a little bit better. The list, it seems to be getting, the tickers just got a little bit better. Oh, I still got older stuff here. I got Ford. Ford is not trying to leave the list. You see that? Ford is still on here from last
somebody
week.
asking about it, so might as
Yeah,
well
all right. So we'll look at that. We'll go to the chat right after this. Ford again, 1.5 guys. The volume has been there for Ford, as you know. Daily has been very interesting. I just don't know what's in it for the next couple of days. Are we going to move sideways or what? I mean, they've been trading very well the last couple of days. So I'll keep it on here, but I probably won't leave it on my list. I keep it on here just because it's there already. Norm, anything you like this morning before we head to the chat?
I'm still looking, man. I'm like I said, I'm not feeling 100%, but not seeing a whole lot that looks wonderful. So I can't wait to see somebody in the room throw out a beauty.
Yeah. Let's take it to the room, guys. Start with Mr. T. Good morning to you. RVPH. Looks like it's starting to come alive here. 6 million shares traded right now, up on 18.5. So that's nice. RVPH was the float on this bad boy. We're looking at 8.5. So this could be the low flow.
Yeah.
It could be the low flow. Let's see if it holds. It's selling off now, which I do not like. Let's see if it can hold here, right? Actually, it's bouncing off 330. Let's see if we can get above the VWAP. Get
We had
some
some
of these.
FDA action on a trial
Mhm.
that they're doing.
Okay, that's also a good catalyst there. Always tend to pops these things up. So yeah, let's keep that on there. Yeah, Thor TRY we do have here, man. This looks good for today. Really does. And they got a catalyst behind it, so that's playing nice this morning. Heading on down, let's look at BMY from J Bones. BMY, no, no. BMY is
No.
no good. It's the volume. I see what you're
This is
looking at, right?
not a
Possible breakout, but
no.
yeah, no. This is no. SoFi this morning. No. And this one, I tend to be a little more pickier on this one because I don't like the way it trades. So it's really got to look extra good. Now, if you like this one and you traded before in the past, go for it. But for me, it needs to be really hot because it doesn't trade well. Socks X here or socks. Let's make sure I typed the right thing. S. So socks S here. They're up 4%. Sitting in the American Stock Exchange, guys. And I just do not like stocks on that exchange.
That's an ETF, brother.
There's an ETF. Okay, well, what
Yeah,
ETF is this?
it's a leveraged 3 times short semiconductor ETF.
Oh, okay. Oh man, yeah.
We
Maybe I have to open
usually,
it again.
guys, we
Yeah,
don't trade these a lot. I know Brian trades TNA sometimes or
yeah, yeah,
TZEA,
yep. Even the
TZA, but
Qs or the
we
SPY.
don't
Yeah,
really go over the
yeah,
ETFs
yeah.
all that often.
FedEx here, guys. This morning, again, they're pretty flat. I don't see anything going on with FedEx, so no volume there right now. That's typical FedEx though. If there is something going on, you can get some action at the bell, but at the moment, I'm just not seeing anything. ISIG this morning, they're up 17%, 440 and 38,000. This was very active a couple of times here. They give you a pop all the way to 32, and then at one time here at 35. Starting to get going. What's the float on this? Was it a low flow stock? I don't recall. Yeah, this is the 900 and 922,000 float. So again, just be careful. I'll come back to it, but I'm probably not going to keep that on there. This is a garbage type stock. All right, what else we have, guys? I think we're
I'm
pretty
just
much set here.
staring at my screen,
Yes,
staring at my
AMD.
watch list.
You know what? This list is gonna end up being one of those lists like last week, right? Where I keep AMD, Apple, Lucid, Tesla, and just get rid of all the other stuff, right? It's already setting up that way. Last one here, then we take it to YouTube. Bank of America this morning, they are up slightly. The banks did well last week on Friday, and last week they had a really good pop here. West Fargo here, WFC also had a nice. Yeah, the banks have been doing very very well. I'll watch my favorite, which is WFC. I'll keep an eye on that as a possible. See if there's anything going to be happening there. You can take a look at your favorite bank. They had a great week last week. All right, we'll stop here. Let's take a look over on our YouTube chat, friends. What do we have over there? So we're looking at Ford. Yes, someone did mention Ford. I mean, it's active, guys. 1.5, which is typical volume for them, but they have been moving rather well the last couple of days, right? We've seen some drops and then we've seen a good recovery. So if you like trading Ford, you could definitely take advantage of it for sure. Here we have a Zynga for ORB. You know what? That's interesting you say that. We don't know. We don't know what the strategy is going to be. You can look for an ORB at the open, long or short, but it's got to set up
It's a
for it.
freaking buyout.
Yeah,
I wouldn't bet on it doing much at all.
exactly. It might just go sideways. But as far
I
as
wouldn't expect it to do squat. I mean, it is. I think it's a cash and stock deal, so it can have some movement a little bit.
Yeah,
but
it's
I
done
mean,
a lot.
buyouts usually they just peg at a price and sit there. So not even something I would consider.
Yeah, it's done a lot this morning already too. Like you had this one initial pop, then look, all morning it's just gone sideways for the most part, right? So yeah, so I don't know about that one. Do I have it on my list? I don't even have that on my list. I think I don't have that on my list. But as far as to answer your question, what strategy? Yeah, where's Phil? You don't know the strategy. You can look for it, but I don't set a strategy. Like, I'm gonna trade this on this stock, right? You just don't know yet. It's got to set up. You got to get your signal. All right, guys. Anything else? Everything else you guys are throwing out on YouTube, we have looked at. Four we have looked at, so that's good. PFE seems to be the only one we haven't looked at, and I'm not a big fan of PFE and the way it trades for intraday trades, and it's not doing a whole lot this morning anyway. Last one here from Sunny, FSM. FSM, no. Let's set on a good note, on a better note. Baba. Let's take a look at Baba here. Oh yeah, Baba's good. Yeah, Baba's worth watching. Let's put that on here. Don't worry, guys. This list I know looks long, but we are gonna fine tune this very quickly. So a lot of stuff's gonna hop off this pretty fast. All right, let's stop here. Let's go over to our community events and announcements. And Norm, you know what? I did not check if you sent me a new one this morning. You did? So give me just 2 seconds. Actually, I'll put this one over here now, and then we'll come back and I'll get you the other one in a second here.
All right. Since it's Monday, we'll just do the quick weekly rundown. Usually you've got Brian's trade reviews 2:30 in the afternoon. He's been gracing us with his presence more often than that recently in the afternoons, but his scheduled time 2:30 Monday afternoon. Then remember, new time on these guys. The onboarding class starts at 7 p.m. Eastern on Mondays, and then tech is immediately following that at 8. Tuesdays and Thursdays, you've got trade reviews with Eamon at noon. Success webinars at 8 p.m. on Tuesday. Psychology at 8 p.m. on Wednesday. Note that those times do occasionally change when we have people from other time zones. For instance, this Wednesday, Creta will be at 5 p.m. on Wednesday. And then mentoring on Thursday, you've got Andrew at 11, Ed at 4:30, and Thor at 8 p.m., and then crypto on Friday with Jared at 11 a.m. All right. Speaking of Ed, tomorrow night, 8 p.m. is going to be talking about how he uses Algo. Is it Algo Flow? I believe is the name of his options scanner that shows large options trades going through. Follow the money. A lot of times the Flow Algo. There you go. Thank you. A lot of times, the big money will be trading in options for moves that sometimes maybe they know something the rest of us don't, or such. So anyway, take a look at that. It'll be an interesting webinar. We have not hit that topic before, so it will be awesome to have a new webinar on that. And then Thor's going to be talking about tape reading. That's next Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern. As I mentioned, Creta this Wednesday, 5 p.m. Eastern. We'll be talking about how to think and trade like a professional athlete to gain mental edge in the markets. That will be part of her Mental Edge series, part 1. And then the week following, 8 p.m. back to the normal time, Mike will be talking about building your trading confidence with a solid pre-market routine. I know nothing about that. All right, stocktradingsimulator.com. Guys, if you have not had a chance to check this out, this is the free web-based replay simulator that we have built, available to the public. There's no charge on it. You don't have to download any software. You don't even have to put in your email address, but down there at the bottom, if you'd like to, you can put your email address in and you'll get email assignments from Simon and Eamon a couple of times a week. We will not spam you, and we do not sell that list. And then if you're watching on YouTube, haven't been in the chat, you'd like to give it a shot, you can go to bearbulltraders.com. Right there on the homepage, if you scroll about halfway down, you'll see the Test Drive Now button. When you click that Test Drive Now button, you can use the promo code PREMARKET24. It'll get you a discount off the intro membership, and which is 5 trading days in the room, 7 calendar days, unless there is a market holiday. And remember, next Monday, market's closed. So anyway, check us out. And don't forget, over there on YouTube, please hit that thumbs up button. Smash those likes. Really does help. Much appreciated. And if you don't do it for me, do it for this wonderful person that we have to brighten us up this morning. Creta, good morning. I hope you had a wonderful weekend.
Hi, Norm. I did. Thanks. Hope you did too.
Well, other than a sick kid, but that's the way it goes. This morning, you are going to be talking about giving yourself credit in trading. So go ahead and take it away. And pardon my stare. My camera's down, so it looks like I'm just not blinking for 10 minutes.
No, I did cop that. I was wondering for a little while, but no, I saw. So yeah, we're talking about the importance of giving yourself credit in trading, but also this links with the idea of perspective. So this is a kind of short and sweet reminder today, just to put everything in perspective for you guys, and hopefully it will help with your motivation and your confidence. So we've talked about it before, but the mindset of traders and the personality types that are drawn to day trading are really people, or they tend to be people that like taking risks and that are quite hard on themselves. So, high achievers, very ambitious. And the problem with this is that when, and I'm including myself in this, when we're in that type of personality, we often look at the top of the mountain that we're trying to achieve. So we're always focused on the top of the mountain and driving ourselves to get there. But the problem is, not only are we always pushing ourselves to the top and not looking back at how far we've come, but usually as we start getting near the top of one mountain, our gaze goes off to the next mountain over at the side that's even bigger. And before we've even reached the top of the first one, we're already looking at how we're going to get to the top of the second one. So it just continues on and on. And the kind of meaning behind that is that you never actually reach the top of your goals. You're always going to push yourself to higher heights. So it's really important to balance that out by actually taking stock of what's going well for you, the things that you've done well, and the work that you've put in to get where you currently are. And in order to just flesh that out, I'm going to give you a little bit of an anecdote as to why this came into my awareness over the weekend. So I was actually feeling very overwhelmed. I had a really big to-do list and I was trying to keep on top of it. And I found myself getting really frustrated. And obviously, being a psychologist, I engage in all self-analysis all the time. I'm full of personal development, all of that. So it catches me by surprise sometimes when something is sitting there in my subconscious and, it comes into my awareness and I realize that it's been affecting me for a while. So I was getting overwhelmed and getting very frustrated. And I realized that actually I had an epiphany moment. I realized that I wasn't just feeling overwhelmed and kind of I wasn't feeling annoyed that things were hard. I was actually feeling annoyed that I was finding them hard. And when I zoomed out and looked at my year in perspective, I realized that actually I had done quite a lot of things. So obviously there's a lot more, but just high level, had a baby, moved country, created an online course, rebranded, created a new website, lots of things. So when I put it in that type of perspective, I thought, oh, actually, this is ridiculous. It's not meant to be easy. The things that I'm trying to do, that you guys are trying to do in the market, they're hard things to do. It shouldn't necessarily be easy. So when we actually get frustrated with ourselves for finding things difficult, sometimes it's because we've lost perspective of what we're actually trying to achieve and the magnitude of that. So how do we actually turn that into something concrete that can help your trading? Well, first off, it's really important to take stock of where you've come from and to zoom out from a sort of broader perspective in the longer term. So wherever you're currently at in your trading journey today, zoom out and reflect on where you've come from in the past year. So think about where you were at this time last year and how far you've come. And a way to actually make that very concrete is to create a confidence CV. So I think I mentioned this before, but let's talk about it again. This is where you actually write down all of the accomplishments and the things that you are proud of achieving, say in a year time frame. And it's not like a CV that you would be presenting to someone to get a job for. These are anything that you find difficult, that you're proud of yourself for achieving, or just that you really feel good about that you have, accomplished this year. So you write all of those things down in one list, and that's your confidence CV. And that will actually help you to get out of your own head and to put it on paper and to look at the progress that you've made. And of course, doing this can build your confidence and your motivation. So it's really important to do it from a longer term perspective. But also then we want to be able to do that from a day-to-day perspective in our trading. So the way that we do that is one technique that's really helpful is to write down 3 things that you did well every day as part of your trading review, that evening or whenever you finish your trading. So no matter how bad the day has gone, there'll be 3 things that you can identify that went well for you or that you were happy with the effort that you put into. And if you're absolutely struggling, you could even be putting in that, you watched the pre-market show, you got up on time, you, did your 5 minutes of meditation before you started trading. So it doesn't have to be linked with your actual trading performance. But by doing that, you're cultivating a mindset that is taking stock of the things you're doing well, and that's giving you credit for the effort that you're making. And that's really important to help sustain motivation and confidence in the long term. And then another way of doing it is also to set yourself process and performance goals. So again, these are the goals that don't directly relate to your P&L, but are more about how well you're executing aspects of your trading plan. And if you can track those on a day-to-day basis, then you're bringing into your own awareness and bringing to your own attention the things that you're doing well and the parts of the jigsaw puzzle of trading that are going well for you and that you're mastering. And again, that just helps to bring that level of perspective and credit to you that really actually will help your performance. But not only that, it's going to make you a happier person. And then the biggest piece of insight that I would like to impart to people is just that idea of don't create extra pressure for yourself. So in my story there, I was creating additional pressure for myself by unconsciously thinking that I should be finding all of this easy, when the reality was, it isn't. I'm trying to do a lot of things at the same time. And it's fine that it's not easy. I just want to get it done. But by heaping that extra pressure on, I was totally exacerbating the level of pressure I was under, and that was making it even harder to get the things done. So where possible, identify where you might be adding additional pressure on yourself just through how you're looking at whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish. So whether it's in your trading or whether you're balancing a lot of different responsibilities alongside trading, whatever it is, just make sure that you're not adding additional pressure onto yourself where it doesn't need to be there. And also, just a link with that, I have actually posted that Profit from Pressure meditation. It's on my YouTube channel. Maybe we can drop the link there in the chat. But if people want an extra boost of doing a meditation that helps you to be more resilient to pressure and reframe it, that can help too. But just a little reminder this week to go easier on yourself, give yourself credit for what you've done well over the past year, and make sure that you bring that into a daily practice of giving yourself credit and reflecting on progress made every day in your trading.
Kreda, that is great news. And I'll tell you how comforting it is, us mere mortals, to have somebody that studies how the brain works and everything else get frustrated with their normal activities like the rest of us do. So, sure. Guys, you can check out Kreda on Twitter at Kreda_perform, correct?
That's it. Yeah. And that meditation is on the YouTube channel. Yep.
And on YouTube, it is Kreda Performance. So check her out. Be sure to subscribe. And she's got some great material in both of those spots. So thank you.
Awesome.
Very much. Norm. And we'll see you Wednesday.
See you then.
All right. Thank you so much for that, Kreda. Guys, over on YouTube, let's give Kreda a big thumbs up for her amazing message every Monday and Wednesday. All right, guys, let's get to it. So Norm's camera's still frozen. Let's see here, Norm. What can we do?
That's all right. Don't worry about me, brother.
Okay. Gotcha, man. I was actually going to, maybe we could do something like this. Yeah, I like that better. That's better there. All right, guys.
There you go.
Let's get to it. Let's look at our list this morning. It's a lot on here that does not look great, but it will get great today, hopefully.
I thought my face looked like that meme with the kid in school with the veins popping out of his head.
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah,
you know what I'm talking about.
Yes, yeah. Oh man. So here it is, guys. Ford this morning. Actually, it's compared to everything else on this list, Ford does not look bad as far as pre-market activity. Well, we'll keep it on here. Let's see if Ford is going to continue to treat us well as it has in the past.
Fubo's getting active, brother. I don't know.
Yep.
I haven't seen anything come across. What's the news, guys?
Yeah, Fubo is good. Something's breaking out there on Fubo for sure. Going up 3% right now. Earnings. Fubo. Earnings. Let's see.
I didn't have earnings.
No, not today. The earnings coming up on March 1st after hours. So no, not today.
They pre-announced.
Oh, okay. Pre-announced raise guidance and all that good stuff. All right, so they're looking good this morning, guys. Let's put them on here. Lululemon, I'm gonna remove. Again, it just doesn't look all that great. TRY definitely in play, guys. Tons of volume. 5 million shares traded there, so I like that. Here is Mara dropping down. I want to keep an eye on this in case we're going to have a flush on Bitcoin today. We can take advantage of Mara or either Riot. Lucid starts to look good, guys. Wow, EV's taking a hit, right? We have Tesla. We have, how about NIO? I haven't seen noise on NIO yet, but they're also down 1%. There it is. They're also down 1% as well. So yeah, NIO could be a good possible. I think EVs.
You guys are killing me.
EVs overall are going to be interesting today. So we'll keep an eye on NIO. Lucid is good. Tesla, yes, but I'm going to put it as a possible just because I don't personally trade it myself. but all EVs are in play today. Nvidia is good. AMD, I'm not gonna watch both of these. I'm gonna keep one only. So I'll probably keep. You know what? Let's keep Nvidia. I'm sorry, AMD. We'll move Nvidia down somewhere else here. Nvidia there. All right. So what do we have so far? Main list: Ford, TRY, Mara, Lucid, AMD, and Fubo just start to get going here. We'll give this a little bit of time. Secondary list. Let's fine tune this, guys. I'm gonna remove Nvidia for now. Actually, we do have Apple here, which is another good one. We might need to do.
I like an Nvidia myself.
You are.
It's one of my
Apple.
faves.
I like Apple, man. I like Apple. I could switch from AMD and Nvidia look pretty much the same. Either one looks good. If you like Nvidia a lot, I'm gonna go with it, man, because your calls are really good at times. This is not Tesla. This is not Tesla. I'm like, wait a minute, what happened to Tesla here? That is spelled incorrectly. That is Tesla there. Okay, there we go. Neo, Baba could be interesting. Apple, I have on my main list. Remove that from there. Guys, all right, we got some garbage coming up here, right? IronQ, I'm just going to get rid of it. We gave it the benefit of the doubt. Nothing's happening there. TTWO, maybe. It's just for everything else I have. I don't think so. Viacom, no. AERHR, no good. No, let's get rid of that. And I have West Fargo here just in case. All right, there we go. Now we got a good list, or not good, but decent. RVPH, low flow that can get active, and we have this one here, but this is again 920,000. So you got to be really careful on this here. We'll come back to that. All right, guys, let's do levels here. We have Ford on the list, and really on Ford, you do not need to do a whole lot, guys, right? Highs and lows from the last 2 trading days. Your highs and your lows are basically the highs for the last from Friday, the lows from Friday, highs from Thursday. So again, you're set here. Do not need to add anything else. Let's see how this is going to play out. It has 1.7 million, down 1.2 right now, looking pretty good. Here is a TRY, very active this morning, 5 million shares traded so far. That's a lot of volume for them early on. 745 is the high of the pre-market. Above this, we do have a pop right over here over at 771. Good level there. And then over here, another good one as well at 793. Towards the bottom, I am going to mark this area here. You do see a couple of days using that as their previous day close. In the past, there as their opening 704 there. So a lot of support happening there. We'll put that on there just in case. In the pre-market, you see a little bit of resistance here and then nice breakout right around that 704. So maybe that could be important for these guys this morning. Here's Mara. I like Mara for a possible breakdown here, guys. We do have shares for sure. Pre-market right now doesn't look great, but we know Bitcoin has been taking a very nice hit over the last couple of days. You can see that here with Mara. Heading towards the bottom, I'm going to find a level here on the daily, 2613. Down here over at a 2395, and then here it gets a little messy, but we'll put 2272 and over here 2064. I don't think you'll get there, but who knows, man. Bitcoin has been really taking a dive here. So we have that set ready to go. Might be more of a possible actually, Mara, because this is just dependent. I don't want it long, to be honest. If it goes long, I really don't care about it. If it starts flushing, I am more interested on shorting this than going long on it. So yes, I do have a bias on Mara. I don't want it going long. I think it's going to be a lot of resistance here, but if it drops, I think we can get better plays towards the downside. So since that's only what we're looking for, I'm going to move it to a possible. If that does happen, we can go and see what's going on there. Here's Lucid, guys. Great volume, 809,000 and climbing this morning. Pre-market continues to drop here, as you can see. Right now, the price target is sitting right at a nice daily level at 40.15. So I'm going to mark that there. That hopefully is going to be our low of our pre-market pretty soon. But you can see there's a lot of touches on that 40.15. So definitely want to have that there. Once you look at the bigger picture, guys, highs and lows from the last 2 trading days are doing a pretty good job. Maybe you just add 41.70 and I think you're set on this. Do not need to complicate things. Keep it very simple. You don't want to overpopulate your charts and then drive you crazy. You're going to have indicators, conflicting with other indicators, and it'll just drive you nuts, right? So just keep it simple. It's important to do that. 264.77, low of the pre-market on Nvidia, guys. AMD looking pretty good as well. Here towards the bottom, let's see. Man, we had this pop on November here, November, whatever date this is, the 4th. Look at the increase in volume we had on November 4th. And ever since then, the volume has stayed pretty high compared to what they were doing before that. And you can see the bodies, the candles and bodies here are so wide, right? With the extra volume coming in, a lot of volatility with the overall, not just NVIDIA. If you look at AMD and other tech companies, they've been doing the same thing. So now we're below this area. Is the fun over for these tech companies? Are we coming back down to some reality checks here? We'll see. 257.64, and then we also have here 250.05 towards the downside. Towards the top, plenty of stuff there, highs and lows, previous day close, just a tons of stuff happening up there. But NVIDIA looking good this morning, guys. We do have shares for sure. And I gotta say, this ticker has been trading very, very well since November, since that day we spoke about. Here's Fubo, popped and came right back down.
Complete disappointment.
Mm-hmm. On which one?
Fubo.
Oh yeah. This is pop came back down. It's just there was no continuation. There was no continuation here whatsoever. That is concerning. I think that can become choppy now. We'll have to see. It might be more of a possible now. We'll keep it on here. As far as levels, guys, you're pretty set here. We want to break out of this range if we can. This 1445, 1450 would be nice, but I might move that down to a possible now because again, you didn't get that continuation there. Here's
Just
Apple.
Really not.
Yeah. Here's Apple looking really good, guys. Again, all tech stuff, kind of taking a little bit of a dive here. I got this level at 167.51. Low of the pre-market, 168.90-ish around there, 87 to be exact. You could put that there. Also, towards the top, plenty of stuff there. Do not need to add anything else. And then if we go towards the bottom here, we do have 164.14. And then right over here, around 158.75 looks decent. And then another level in here at 161.86. So a couple of daily spots there on Apple. Again, I don't think we're getting down here, but let's just be ready. Who knows how we're going to start this week. And that's what we have. Possibles Mara for sure. If I can get it. Tesla. I have Neo. More EV companies down here as they continue to take a hit. I have Baba, which actually looks pretty decent. And Baba has traded well the last week as well. And I have a bank just to see how the bank stuff is going to do today. All right. That is what we have. Norm, anything that I know you don't like a lot today, but anything that that's catching your eye so far?
No, not really, man. I've got Baba, NVIDIA, AMC, Lucid.
Yeah, AMC. Yeah.
I'm not seeing a whole lot right now, frankly.
Yeah, I actually like Baba better than Ford, to be honest. I might make that switch as we go through some of the stuff here towards the open. But guys, let's take a look at our moderators lineup. So let's bring this over here. Let's disable this video so you don't get the mirror effect. As I am doing this over on YouTube, we appreciate your thumbs up. It helps us out a ton. If you can do that, that is very, very much appreciated. We like to be between 250 and 300. It's always a great number to be at. So help us get there this morning to start off the week right here. Let's see what our moderators are watching today. Start with Thor. He's looking at AMC, TRY, Apple, and AMD. Jared's looking at the Qs this morning. Couple of, hopefully some bounces there in tech. Tesla, TRY, and then secondary just looking at financials and energies from last week. See what's happening there. Here's Eamon, potential longs, Disca, American Airlines, risky on that one. Potential shorts, he's looking at Ford and a PayPal. Also has a note there of risky. Tiffany's looking at Tesla, NVIDIA, secondary list 4 and TRY. Dima is looking at Apple, AMD, and Baba. Mike is looking at a couple of things here. This is probably one of the longest lists we've seen from Mike in a while. Mike coming back to trading here. Financials, he's looking at JP Morgan, Bank of America, and West Fargo, and then travel sector, BA, American Airlines, and Delta. See if any volume can get in there at the open. No IPOs, no SPACs for today. And Peter's list is going to be AMD, Apple, TLRY, secondary list 4, Lucid, and Tesla today. So looking good there.
Yeah, I just wanted to. Kenneth asked a good question, and I wanted to answer this. He says, I have questions. Zynga has a buyout price of $9.87. It's currently trading at what, brother? I don't have it pulled up.
$8.91 right now.
$8.91. Why is it trading under it, and why would it not go up to it? So there's two reasons for that. It's a cash and stock deal. Usually when you have a stock deal, the amount of stock given to people that they're buying out is quoted as the previous day close price, and Take-Two is down 10.1%. So while 987 or whatever it was might be the price according to the close on Friday of TTWO and the cash they're giving, with the drop, it lowers it a little bit. The other part is this, deals that, and I don't know, I have not read up on this deal. It's uninteresting to me, not very exciting as far as a trader. But when you have takeovers, usually it takes them a chunk of time to get done. And who is going to, if you're going to get $9.87 out of it a year from now, why would you want to pay $9.87 for it today and just have your money frozen? So you're not making any money on it. That's why usually on takeovers, even if they're cash at, let's say, $100 a share, and it's projected to close in, let's say, 6 months, it might go to $99 or $99.50. And over that 6-month period of time, it will slowly creep up as some people might get it for, small move in there or whatever. But in general, you've got those two things working against it, why it's not sitting at that price at the moment.
Yep. Thank you, Norm, for that. And guys, with that said, we are off here to continue in our chat room. Guys over on YouTube, thank you so much for joining us. Remember, onboarding class tonight is at 7 p.m., so join us for that. We'll love to have you there and answer a couple of questions for you and kind of give you an overview of our community. Brian is coming in with his list: Airbnb, JD, CGC, TNA, and also TZA this morning. He'll be looking at those today. So guys, take care over on YouTube. Have an amazing day. Have a safe trading day. And we'll see you guys tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern time for the onboarding class. Take care, guys.
Take care, guys. Trade safe.